What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Sam here, and in today's video we're going to be doing some stuff that everybody needs to do, and that's maintenance on their vehicle. So it's been a couple thousand miles and a couple off-roading trips since the Jeep Gladiator was built, so it's time for me now to go through it and nut and bolt check it and check some stuff out. And especially since on our last trip I started hearing a noise, and then my RCV boot started like really, you know, throwing a bunch of grease. So we're going to inspect that. It needs an oil change, so got some AMS oil, and going to talk about the importance of oil changes on these 3.6s while we're at it, and just looking around the vehicle, seeing how everything's doing and all other kind of stuff. So sit back, relax, and maybe you learn something, or maybe you'll learn me something. I don't know, but hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, drop a follow, drop a comment, and hype the video and all that good stuff. And let's get into the maintenance. Alrighty, so let's start with the oil change. So my oil change is going to be different than your oil change for one reason. That's because I have a skid. So if you go under here with me, I have the Next Venture Motorsports skid, and it has a skid for the you know, for the engine. And as you can see here, it has a skid all the way from front to back, which looks absolutely beautiful. I haven't even barely touched a little bit down there, but all good. The UHMW is pretty scarless. So anyways, you have to have, there's a access port right there, and you have to take that off to get to the drain plug. So I had to do that first. Okay, and then I get to change my oil. So, but I use AMS oil, their signature series synthetic motor oil. This is a 25,000 mile warrant or protection oil. I use it because these 3.6s are notorious for lifter issues and stuff like that, and I change my oil about every 5 to 6,000 miles ish. So I like to keep on the oil changes, especially with these engines. I don't want, you know, knock on wood, I don't want the issues. So especially with the 3.6s. So buy a good oil, use the actual weight that the oil that the manufacturer requires. Yes, I know, OW20, who wants to use that? I don't. But these manufacturers have made these engines so particular now that you cannot run anything other than what they recommend. You know, I think Toyota has like a OW8 or something now. It's because the oil passages, they got to get this oil up in the heads and up to these up to the squirters and stuff. So it needs a very fine oil. So got to run the OW20. Make sure to run the particular oil that your engine requires. That's major. So, but we will, it's time for the oil change, so that'll be my first object of the day, is to do that, and we're going to do that. So we're going to put 5 quarts of OW20 synthetic AMS oil, and I'm not sponsored by AMS oil. I wish I was, but I'm not. So if AMS oil's watching this video, if you want to sponsor me, that'd be great, because I love your oil, but it's a little expensive. But I mean, that's oils in general. So anyways, we're gonna pump 5 quarts of OW20 in here, and then we will move on to the next thing, which is going to be greasing up all my johnny joints. And then unfortunately we're gonna have to I need to put grease in these, right, because it spit all the grease out. But the grease zerk is in the middle, right here where this cap is. And unfortunately, my wheel does not have a removable cap. So we will have to take off the whole wheel and tire to do that. So I don't know if that's gonna happen right this second after I do this oil change, or it's gonna happen later on, but it's gonna happen. So enough talking, let's get to it. All right, got the oil drained out. I don't know what it is. Every time, seems like I do an oil change, the drain plug is just, you know, stuck on there, and you gotta get like a breaker bar or whatever. And you know, the time before, you're like, who put this drain plug on? I did. And I know I didn't tighten it down that much, but whatever. So we got it. And now we're up here taking this cartridge filter housing off. It's a 24 millimeter 6-point bolt or nut head. So we gotta take that out and put the new filter in. I got the filter from AMSOIL as well. So this is just like a kit you can buy to do it. So we'll do that, and then I'll put 5 quarts of oil in it, and then we'll be done. All right, pulled out the old filter, went through and kind of looked at it and didn't see nothing crazy, so that's good. So it'll move on. We put the old one, new one back in, changed out the O-ring for it, and now it is time to add the oil. So we'll sit here, and like I said, it's 5 quarts of oil. So we'll put 5 quarts in it, and then we'll check it, and then should be good. And then we'll have to reset our little thing on the inside to our oil percentage thing. We'll reset that, and then we'll be good to go. All right, got the 5 quarts in. I even cleaned up the engine bay a little bit, cleaned this up and cleaned this up. That way, if something happens and some stuff splatters, I can see. So that's one of the things that I've learned over the years, is to try to keep you know, the engine bay as tidy as possible. I know it's not, you know, super critical or, you know, super easy to do, but the cleaner you keep it, that way if something does happen, like an oil leak or something happens, you can see. So but yeah, so we're gonna hop in here in the cab of the Jeep and reset the oil thing, and then yeah, the oil change will be done. Well, it's already technically done, but we're gonna do this. That way the Jeep quits saying change oil soon. All right, got the oil changed up, got the thing in the cab turned on, so we are good to go for the oil percentage. I got it started here and stuff like that, but 30 some psi of pressure at idle. The whole thing's good. So you know, these things have a 2-stage oil pump, so at idle it pumps lower than at a certain RPM. So 31 psi at idle, and yeah, no alarming sounds coming from the engine. There's a little tick, but you know, who knows. If this engine gives me any trouble, I got a 5/7 sitting right there. That needs to be a rebuild that could go right in here. Jeep Speed's got a pretty interesting kit that you could put a Hemi in JL or a Gladiator pretty easily, so, or pretty cost effectively. So that might happen, but hopefully not. But yeah, so that's the oil change done. And now on to the next bit of maintenance. All right, it's a new day here. Had to wait for a specialty, not specialty, just something I didn't have, a part to grease up these RCVs. So I had to get a needle nose adapter for the RCVs. It has to have this type of grease fitting, so that's what we're gonna use. Got the RCV grease here, the Molly grease. Already got grease all over me and on my shirt and on my arm, and yeah, so I was already underneath here trying to clean it because it is absolutely, let me hold on one second, it is slung grease everywhere. Let me turn the light on. It is slung grease everywhere, you can see. Everywhere on the brakes, so that's good. Grease on the brakes will make brakes work really well. So it's slung grease everywhere. The one on the other side you can't see because it's way over there. Literally no grease has slung out, but this one for some reason has, and I don't know why it has, but the cup looks like it's seated where it's supposed to, and there doesn't look like there's any rips or anything on the actual boot itself. As you can see here, it does get really close to this caliper bolt there, or the bearing hub assembly bolt. Gets really close to it, maybe touches it, but I don't see any rips or anything. So what we're gonna have to do now is unfortunately take this 140 pound tire wheel combo off and get to the needle bearing or needle grease fitting on the inside. So yay. So let's quit messing around and just do it. Alrighty. I say alrighty a lot, so but anyways, got the tire off. I use a jack to move it around. It's a lot easier that way. But yeah, just to get to this right here, what we had to do, I'm thinking about taking the center cap out and not running a center cap, because especially where this one's throwing grease a lot, I don't know, I don't want to put the tire back on and then it throw grease again, and I want to keep my RCVs in good shape. So, and like I said, I don't see a problem. They're just shooting grease, so I don't know. It stinks really bad, I can tell you that. So, but yeah, we'll get the gun out here and the grease, and then yeah, fix it. All right, so we got a brand new grease gun from Harbor Freight, and we'll take our grease and we'll uncap it all, and then we'll put it in here, and then we'll have to use our needle nose adapter here we got, and then we will fill that RCV up for about 5 to 8 pumps. So that's what it says to do, so that's what we'll do. Alrighty, that was a nightmare. So got the grease in here with the contraption. I'll show you my contraption here. So this fitting just kind of went on to the end of the grease gun. Couldn't get the grease gun to prime at first, so that was a whole deal. I lost a quarter of my grease trying to get it to prime and popping it off and stuff like that, but we got it. So that's greased. Took the cap off my metal cloak baller joints here, got them greased up my RPM steering, greased up my Johnny joints on my Clayton long arms, greased those up. So got everything I could pretty much grease up that I could reach. Got my Pitman arm greased up there, so it's all greased up. Found a loose nut on my steering, or on my control arm, so not too bad, but I had to get underneath there and tighten that. So yeah, so it's a good time to nut and bolt check it. I got something in this tire. I don't know when that happened, because I put the tires on, and when you roll it around, you can hear something at the bottom of it. So I have something in the bottom of this tire. I don't know what that is, but yeah, other than that, everything looks good. Put about 8 pumps of grease in these, and like I said, I think I'm going to take the centers out. It's going to look weird, but at least I won't have to take the tire off again to service these. So it is what it is. So now I get the fun part of putting this tire back on and then going to the other side and greasing that one up. So let's get into it. All right, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I think got it all done. Put the wheel back on a tire, took the center caps off, like I said. So that kind of looks stupid, but I'd rather do that than have to take the tire on and off every time. It needs to be greased, because these have to be greased, especially this one now where it's throwing grease everywhere. It's gonna have to be greased regularly. So rather than do that than to take the tire on and off. So, but let's recap the video. So first we did the oil change and put AMSOIL in this thing. Second, we went around and checked all the joints and everything, lubed them up with some red and tacky, and greased up the Johnny joints. Found a control arm nut that it's kind of backed off, so we tightened that up. Then we greased the RCVs. So we got this one and the passenger side. I did the passenger one off camera, but they are done. So that means it's time for the Gladiator to get back out and do some more trails, and the next ones we have in line looks like it's going to be the tough ones. So put the Gladiator through its ultimate paces as of now so far. So, but made sure that I gave it the best chance of going and doing these trails by looking it over, bolt checking it, and greasing everything up. So now it's just time to go out and see how it does on the hard stuff. So you'll see that in the next video. But until then, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, drop a comment down below, hype the video, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one for some harder core wheeling. Hopefully, looks like we might hit Big Widowmaker and some other trails. So until next time, we will see you in the next one.